Hello out there! It's Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another Sonic Boom vlog. Although admittedly I don't know when this will be up because as I record this, the internet in my house has been down for almost 3 days. So there's a couple people that might have noticed that my activity online has been lacking recently. That's because I haven't had any internet access since Wednesday. Okay, so today's episode is called Into the Wilderness. And it starts with Amy Rose walking down the road with a stick. It turns out that she's going to go to the, hold on, I wrote down some funny place names here. She's going to go to the Hidden Meadow to pick those, to pick some of those berries as holiday decorations. And Stick says, exploding berries? And she says that they just look nice. And Styx says that nice things attract government agents and possums, and those things smell horrible. And the possums also smell horrible. But, you know, Amy says she'll take the risk just to decorate her house. So when they ask how she's going to get to the Hidden Meadow, she's going to go through Hazard Jungle, past Peril River, over to Danger Falls, through the Pleasant Gardens, and around Peril Lake. And Styx says that she'll never get through the Pleasant Gardens by herself. That's what, yep, and those are the notes that I took. So she says that she's going to help her learn some survival skills. To which Sonic starts laughing because he thinks that he's a better survivalist. So they make a bet that that Styx can lead Amy to the berries better than Sonic can lead Knuckles to the berries. So they decide to have a race so you can get to the berries first. And of course Sonic zips off screen and he comes back with a cup full of the berries, but they say that doesn't count because you have to do it as a team. That means it doesn't count unless he's with Knuckles, just like it wouldn't count unless Styx is there with Amy. So they decide to take a couple of days to do this thing, to do some training, and that they'll meet at the start line at the end of the training. And then the berries in the cup explode. I guess Styx... It's hard to tell when Styx is saying crazy random things and when she's actually saying things that are true. So, apparently, yes, the berries do actually explode. And also, why the heck is Amy going to decorate her house with exploding berries? Alright, so they go into the training, and with Styx and Amy, we get this pleasant little montage. Styx just showing Amy how... She says that surviving in the wilderness isn't about making things pretty, it's about using what you have to make things. So she shows her how to make a pile of leaves and a couple of rocks to start a fire. And Amy, she uses a pile of leaves to make a pretty little sculpture of a birdie sitting on a nest of eggs, which Styx lights on fire for her. So they go into the whole pitching the tent thing. So Styx has improvised a tent out of leaves and sticks and stuff, and she's using a rock to pound in the last tent stake, and she hands it over to Amy to let her finish, and when Amy pounds the stake, the tent catches on fire and burns down. Do any of you guys remember that old episode of The Simpsons where Homer had to do Mr. Smithers' job for a week? And he was trying to make Mr. Burns breakfast, but he just kept on setting fires. And at one point, he poured a bowl of cornflakes and poured milk into it, and it still caught fire. Sometimes there's no excuse for your failure other than you're just that bad at it. So they continue. Styx shows her knot tying because she thinks that would be simpler. And Amy, she not only did she tie a pretty heart-shaped knot, but she also tied in a pair of cinnamon sticks because you can put it in your closet to keep your clothes fresh. And if you get locked inside there, you can eat them until the fire department comes to rescue you. Or so I've heard. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to bring up the fact that they made a bet, and the bet was that the winner has the loser do their laundry for a month. Sonic says it's not a fair bet because he and Knuckles don't wear pants. But, yeah, that was just a minor incidental thing because they don't really mention it for the rest of the episode. Okay, so After we get to see Amy and Styx doing their training, we cut over to Knuckles and Sonic to see what they're training. And Soar the Eagle is on a show like, Soar the Eagle presents survival training made easy. And Knuckles is like, oh, who's gonna watch this? And he changes the channel to Comedy Chimp, who's hosting the new show, Are You Smart Enough to Feed Yourself? Which Knuckles mentions is actually, the test to get onto the show is surprisingly hard. Yeah, of course it is, Knuckles. Of course it is. Tails questions why they aren't training, but Sonic, because Sonic's an overconfident asshole. That's a trait. His overconfidence and slight assholishness is established canon for him. So the day of the competition comes and they're gonna race. Amy and Styx have like food packed and they're all ready. And Knuckles is wondering if they should get food, but Sonic says, nah, there's plenty of food in the wilderness. So they go off in the competition, and Tails says he'll be the referee, but he just kind of gets tongue-tied because he doesn't really know how he's going to referee because they're going to be in the middle of the wilderness where he can't see them. And then when they all run, like 3 seconds after running off screen, Knuckles is like, hello? I think I'm lost. And you just know, oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, so they're setting up camp for the night. There's a thing where they're trying to find the direction. Amy and Styx, they set a compass in the ground and a stick, and they calculate where north is, and therefore the angle of the stick of the shadow, and they figure out what time it is. It's 2:37. So they're on schedule and they run off. And then Sonic and Knuckles run up behind them, and they see the stick in the ground. That's just what we need. So Knuckles takes a stick and he runs face first into a tree, and with the stick sticking out of the tree, Sonic's like, it's 2:37. We gotta hurry. Like, what? Like, okay, I know Sonic and Knuckles are supposed to be the clumsy idiots in this, but how do they actually know the right time? Of course, nothing is supposed to make sense because it's a comedy, and I'm gonna pull my hair out if I keep on doing that. Okay, so when it comes time to set up camp, Amy and Styx have their tent up, and they start the fire, and Sonic, he can't get the tent up, so he just treats it like a picnic blanket, and then when Knuckles can't start the fire, Sonic tries to start it by running around the fire in circles using friction to burn the leaves, but all that happens is his feet catch fire, and Knuckles beats the fire off with a stick. So Amy and Styx try to take mercy on them and say if they'll concede the loss of the bet, they'll share their food and help them live. To which Sonic says, "No way, we got this." And then here's a funny incident. Styx sets up a trap which catches a rabbit, which she plans on eating. But Amy says that she's not going to eat the adorable thing, and besides, she picked them a fresh woodland salad, which has like tomatoes and mushrooms and fresh lettuce, and like, how does she find all that stuff in the woods? Because I'm pretty sure lettuce and tomatoes don't grow in the woods, but whatever. So they release the bunny and it hops away, and then it encounters a moose, and then the bunny grows fangs and tries to eat the moose. And the funny thing is, the moose screams, and it has that stock sound effect of the screaming goat. You know the screaming goat sound effect. They use it in Geico commercials. They use it on an episode of The Nostalgia Critic when he was with Angry Joe. You know what that moose sounds like? That, you know, the screaming goat. Like really, we're actually using the screaming goat meme on a moose. They could have at least made it a goat. Okay, so the story continues. Sonic and Knuckles are, of course, incompetent. After Amy and Styx go to sleep for the night, Sonic and Knuckles are saying that they have all night to run around and have fun. Knuckles actually comes up with the idea of blindfolding himself and running into the woods to see how long it takes him to get back. Yeah, and then maybe we can put sharp objects in our eyes and eat poisonous things. Oh yeah, speaking of poisonous things, there's one point where Amy has to choose between a pink mushroom and a black mushroom. One's edible and one's apparently poisonous. She eats the right mushroom, and when she throws the wrong mushroom away, it catches the tent on fire. Catching things on fire by accident seems to be the running gag of this episode. Um, so the next morning, Amy and Styx wake up early and head off, and Sonic and Knuckles oversleep. Sonic had come up with a plan to simply follow Amy and Styx most of the way, and then when the finish line was in sight, they would run ahead and win. But since they overslept, Amy and Styx left without them, and they don't know how to follow them, and they're completely lost. And I keep moving the camera when I move my feet. So Amy and Styx, not wanting their friends to die in the woods, try to set up some. Clues for them. Like Styx leaves a boomerang on the fork in the road, but Sonic and Knuckles think that maybe an animal put the boomerang there, so they go the opposite way. Face palm. They set a compass in the ground so that they can find their direction, and as soon as they see the compass, Knuckles stomps it to smithereens, and when Sonic asks why he did that, he says, "Nobody tells Knuckles which way is north." To which Styx double face palms. So it gets to the point where Amy and Styx actually leave a trail of food for Sonic and Knuckles to follow, thinking that even they can't possibly be stupid enough to miss it. When they fall through a pile of leaves into a big pit in the ground, which turns out to be an abandoned missile silo. And of course, after Styx says it's an abandoned missile silo, Amy, for the first time ever, questions her conspiracy theory think, only to find out that the reason Styx said that was because there was a missile still inside of it. And the adorable thing is that it's made by Eggman Missile Industries, which is a subsidiary of Eggman Fun Toys. I can imagine Eggman Fun Toys didn't last very long in business. Assuming that the safety standards of his toys are the same kinds of safety standards for a missile. So Sonic and Knuckles, they ask if Amy and Styx are okay, and upon finding that they're not injured, take note, they confirm that Amy and Styx are not injured first, and then they say that they'll come back to rescue them after they cross the finish line and therefore win the bet. So Styx tells Amy to put the food on the console and that she'll cut up the tent. And Amy asks how she knows how to get out of these things so easily. And she says, if I had a newspaper for every time I've fallen into a missile silo, we could stack them up and climb out of here. But I left them all in my burrow, so we're going to have to do this. I don't want to see the inside of Styx's burrow. It makes me think that this might be the worst ever episode of Hoarders. Okay. We're approaching the end. So Amy and Styx sit on top of the missile, and a bird comes to peck at the breadcrumbs they left all over the console until it hits the launch button, and they fly off. So they fly over Sonic and Knuckles' heads, they use the cut-up tent as parachutes to get down past the finish line, and they win. Amy wonders what's going to happen to the missile, but Styx says that she stands to return to sender. So we go to Eggman's base to get Eggman's cameo. I was like, hey, I know that sound. And he looks and he sees the approaching missile, like, uh-oh. And that's where the episode ends. Okay, so my personal thoughts. Okay, so, at the heart of it, this is one of those boys versus girls plots. But unlike, say, Teen Titans Go, which did this plot in an extremely annoying way, this is actually how you do a boys versus girls plot. Like, first of all, they never actually break it down to gender lines. It's just Sonic challenging Styx to a wilderness survival contest. Because Sonic, as a great superhero who's fought villains all his life, he feels that he can survive, and Styx, who actually is a wilderness survivalist, she's competent in that area. So there's reason for them to be at odds with each other, other than, you can't do that, you're just a dainty little girl. And there's another trap where a lot of times in these stories, the girl is made hyper competent, and the boys are made into morons. I know the reason of this is because they're assuming that boys are going to be watching shows like this, and they need to be taught a little bit of humility, because sexist thoughts in the elementary school demographic is pretty darn common. Although I never really liked the whole girls have to be hyper competent and everything, but even then they don't fall into the trap because we see Amy fouling up. We see her accidentally catching things on fire and trying to decorate things when she should be learning, wilderness survival. So it doesn't even really fall into the hyper competence trap. The only reason Amy knows how to survive in the woods is because Styx trained her. Meanwhile, Sonic and Knuckles watch TV. So, yes, it makes perfect sense in this situation that Styx and Amy are more competent than Sonic and Knuckles. Of course, Knuckles is still a complete retard. I don't like that. I mean, I never really like shows where when you make comedy out of a character that's just too stupid to live, that character can get extremely grating. On certain shows like SpongeBob and Teen Titans Go, it has the entire cast be that character, and that's why I don't really like those shows much anymore. Well, I hate Teen Titans Go, and SpongeBob. I used to like that show, then I was ambivalent towards that show, now I kind of dislike it because it just keeps seeming to degenerate every season. But yeah, like, this episode, it's not your typical boys versus girls plot. There's more to it than that, and that's good. Plus, the jokes and gags in this were hilarious. There was several moments where I was just chortling. Like, there was, like, parts where I had to rewind it because I was too busy giggling to actually catch the next line of dialogue. So, yeah, this is all good. It's good. This was a funny episode. This was a good episode. It managed to do a cliche plot without falling into a lot of the tropes that make the cliche bad. And for that, it is deserving of extra praise. So, way to go. Alright, so this is Wake Angel 2001. Hopefully my new modem will arrive today, so I'll be able to begin uploading this. And if not, then, I'll see you in what might very well be less than a week.